What's going on, guys? KooKenji here, and today we have a build/guide video for playing CDM and center mid. Now in this video we're going to be covering different play styles, different heights and different builds, but also how to play both in like possession, out of possession, how to defend, how to attack, and all of that good stuff. So I'll leave timestamps in the comments of the different chapters we're going to talk about. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it, and let's get into it. In this section we're going to be talking about different builds, both in terms of height, positioning and weight. Now here you can see I'm right wing back at 5'4" and 119 pounds. And ultimately, the build you play with is going to come down to your preference and your play style. But I will be covering the benefits and negatives of both playing as like a right wing back or a centre mid or CDM. The first position we're going to be looking at is fullback and wing back. So this is going to have good crossing, which you don't really need in CDM or centre mid. It's going to have great defending and excellent pace of the three. So obviously FIFA being heavily based around pace, especially pro clubs, having that extra pace is always going to be amazing. And so if you do plan on playing in a purely defensive position, I do highly recommend going as a fullback or a wing back, as I feel like the extra defending and extra pace is all you really need to do well in that position. Moving on to the second position, we're going to be looking at CDM. Now I feel like this is quite an awkward position because it's neither the best at attacking or defending and has the same pace, passing and dribbling as centre mid. So really I feel like if you're going to play CDM you should just have a fullback build, and with centre mid, if you are going to be quite box to box, then I do recommend trying out the centre mid build because you're going to have good shooting and just generally good attacking stats for that position. But bear in mind both CDM and CM builds are going to have less pace than fullback and wingback. So yeah, this does come down to preference and your role in the team. So if you're going to be more attacking, then centre mid might be the best way to go. And if you're going to be more defensive, then I would recommend going with fullback and wingback. Moving on from positions, we can now look at the perks. Now if you look at the top right corner, I'm only level 13. Even after like 70 games at CDM, it is a bit of a struggle, but unfortunately I haven't unlocked the third slot at level 19. But for the perks, we're going to look at active first touch, ball winner, and what's this one? Physical strength. There we go. With ball winner, I'd highly recommend this if you're playing as a stay back CDM or just a general CDM, as this is going to be very helpful for tackling. However, I will say it is kind of like a placebo, that you can't really measure how well this is. I've played without it, and you know, plenty of times I've won the ball fairly easily. It is just depending on how you want to play, I guess, and how good you are at tackling. Likewise with passing, you know, you can't really feel the effects of increasing your passing stats. That's in my opinion, at least. So ball winner, I'd say, should be interchangeable with active first touch. However, it doesn't really matter. Both of them are good. It just depends on how offensive and defensive you are. But I would highly recommend having physical strength. But the most important perk you should get is tireless runner. Obviously I haven't unlocked it, and it unlocks at level 23, which is probably going to take 100, 200 games. So it's going to be a long way before you can get this. But if you do have it, I highly recommend this, even for every position. Having that extra bit of stamina in the last 15 minutes is so crucial if you're in a very tough game. So this is probably, in my opinion, the best perk in every position. So to summarize, I definitely recommend having tireless runner, physical strength, and either ball winner or active touch as your final perk slot. Moving on from perks, we can now look at attributes. So with attributes, I'd recommend prioritizing your pace, physical, and then either defending or dribbling, and going in that order specifically. So pace, physical, and then either defending or dribbling. Pace is always going to be important in FIFA, and especially in pro clubs where it's such a fast-paced game mode. But with physical, strength is always good just to knock players off the ball, and of course stamina. You're going to be running a lot to tracking your opposing runners and also covering for your defenders. Now the last stat I'd recommend prioritizing Personally, I'd go with dribbling because with defending, likewise with passing, even if you increase the stats, I don't see much of a change when, let's say, you get +2 slide tackles. I don't really see that slide tackle getting any better. In FIFA, with passing and tackling, it's always 50-50 in my opinion. It can either be a good tackle or a bad tackle because FIFA is just like that. There's no in between. Like with passing here, you're either going to pass to the right player or you're not. Like FIFA is just so inconsistent. So having the extra stats, really you only want these extra stats if you're trying to get your overall up. So you can see I'm 82. If you want to be like 85, 86, 87, then yeah, sure, then go into those stats. But otherwise, I'd say go into dribbling and most importantly, go into balance when you're in dribbling and ball control because you're going to be receiving the ball in tight situations in midfield. And balance is always just good just to keep your player strong and make sure he doesn't get pushed off the ball too. Quick side note, I should have also said she here because both genders are in FIFA and I just forgot about that. So apologies if you are playing as a woman. But to summarize, you just want to go pace, physical, and maybe dribbling or defending, and going in that order too. Now on to the final part of this segment, we're going to be talking about height and weight. So here you can see I'm 5'4", 119 pounds. Now later I'm going to show you a quick trick, I guess, that will let you go an inch up without losing stats like pace. But the main height builds and weight builds you're probably going to be looking at is from 5'3" to 5'7" to 6 foot. Now you can see my second build here is 5'6" at 121 pounds. Now the 121 pounds is a higher weight class than the 121 pounds from the earlier build, and this build is 6 foot and 158 pounds in weight. And these are going to typically be your 3 different height categories or weight categories as a CDM centre mid. Unless you want to go as like a mean build at like 6'6" as well, which you can do, but I wouldn't recommend if you're going to look for the optimized gameplay. Now I'm just going to show you the trick I talked about earlier with avoiding your stats dropping when you go up in height. Now here you see I'm 5'4". I'm just going to go to 5'3". I've stayed the same stats but gone down in height. But there you just saw I went to 5'4" and then lost a bit of pace. Now if I just go down a bit, there you just saw my pace go up, but I'm still 5'4". And all you have to do is just move your left analog stick a little bit down because there are 2 boundaries and 2 classes in the height. So there's an upper height in 5'4" and a lower height. And you just want to be in the lower height just for that extra pace whilst maintaining an extra inch. Besides, doesn't matter, right guys? Alright? Moving on to the gameplay now. Now for these first few clips, I'm going to be demonstrating good defensive positioning. To simplify positioning, just think to yourself, where is the danger coming from and who is it coming from? Now this can come from someone who's on the ball or someone who's making a run off the ball. Now in this clip the danger is going to be coming down the wing and through a man making a run down the line. Here I've noticed a run and I'm just going to make an easy interception there and head the ball out of play. Now obviously not every attack is going to be down the wing and plenty of them will be in the middle. So in this clip you're just going to see me tracking the attacker, making sure he can't get the ball. And apologies for the kick glitch because this is FIFA 22 and it's still not being fixed. But yeah, we lose the ball, there's a quick counter on the break, but I'm able to get into the middle and read the pass and make the interception and then dribble out into safety. The easiest way to think of defensive positioning is probably just to either stay around in the middle to block any oncoming shots or just follow one of the attackers and follow their runs. Like with this, I'm just going to be following the attacker, ready to block any cross into the box and intercept it. He's got nowhere to go, so he's going to go back out wide. I'm still following the attacker. He tries to cut in and I'm in the middle ready to block it. Followed by an excellent clearance because, safety always comes first. Now there are going to be certain situations where you want to press the ball and sometimes when you want to drop off. There I pressed the ball because I saw the player took a heavy touch and then I can easily make a tackle. And knowing when to press and when to stay off is generally going to come with experience, but a general rule of thumb is just to press when there's a mistake. Fortunately, there is a very overpowered movement called jockeying, and all you have to do is hold L2 or left bumper on Xbox, and effectively allows you to just wait for any error. So there you can see me jockeying, moving side to side, and then quickly cover ground when he takes a heavy touch. From this throwing, you're going to see me jockeying in the middle just to block any potential throws there, but unfortunately they get a throw in behind. And here you're just going to see me jockey, block any potential shot or pass, and they're going to have to go back. The last thing I want to talk about in this segment is accommodating for teammates. So there you saw my teammate pressure, and then I stayed back and got the block. And essentially what I mean by accommodating for your teammates is that if they go attack or press, you fill into their position and cover for their position. So for a centre-back in this example, he's been dragged out wide because of the ball, but I'm going to follow the attacker in the middle through the middle and fill in as a centre-back. And then because of that, we were able to slow them down and get the ball. Accommodating for teammates is going to be especially important for counter-attacks and positioning yourself for counter-attacks. So here you're going to see a counter-attack coming from our free kick. Now obviously you can just see me running back and getting into position, but here you're going to see my teammate press the ball, and I'm just going to stay behind him ready for if he gets past my teammate or passes the ball to another opponent, and I can make the tackle then. But there you just saw me containing and holding my ground. And it's important to remember that you don't always have to be the one that makes the tackle. In the clip before you saw my teammate make the tackle and I was simply covering him. Because I was covering him, my opponent couldn't go past him easily and couldn't just pass the ball away, and we were able to hold them off. Likewise, in this situation, you're just going to see me holding my ground and waiting for my teammate to come back and make the tackle. In this next section, I'm going to be talking about what to do when you've got the ball or your team has the ball. When your team's in possession, it's vital that you're always in space and ready for a pass. For example, here, I'm going backwards, making sure he's got a person to pass to, and there, I can pass it back to him, and then we're away on the counter. This is going to be quite a long clip, but in this, just watch my player, watch how I'm always looking to find space and be open for a pass. Also focus on how I'm moving, as I'm going to be moving side to side and back and forth. Like here, you see me move in between the midfielders and then I can avoid the press. Unfortunately, I didn't get the ball, but again, you're going to see me there. I'm going to cut through the angle and then I'm going to be open. And again, here you see me stop my run and drag myself back, and then I'm still open, and then I can just dink it over to the striker who's making a forward run. Now it's important to remember your role in the team. Obviously this is a centre mid and CDM guide. Here you can just see me waiting outside the box and avoiding or waiting for the counter attack if it does occur, which it does here. But you know, there's no need for me to jump in there, get in the box. We've already got plenty of attackers. That's not my role. Always remember what your role in the team is. And this goes back to accommodating for your teammates, because say if I was in a team with only one striker and I was just the lone midfielder, then maybe I would get in the box depending on how attacking we were and how much we needed the goal. Now in this part you're going to see a bit of an error from my part, as I'm going to sprint forward to make myself open where I didn't need to, as we had a player there, but then you just see me slow down the play. I see my centre back teammate running forward to give extra runners, and then I cover for him there. Now being open doesn't always refer to being open in open play, as here you're going to see me, I'm wide open on the wing for my goal kick, and it's just an easy pass at that point. Unfortunately, I did an awful pass because for whatever reason it didn't lock onto the striker. Thanks FIFA, but here I'm open again, and then I can do a quick driven pass to the striker, and then he can turn, and then he's through, and we get the goal. This is just going to be another example of being completely aware of your situation. Here I see my opposing player lunge in there, and then I can just take the ball pass, and then I can put my striker through. Now this is going to be a potentially controversial topic, but I'm going to be talking about when to play simple and if you should always play simple. So here you're going to see me intercept the ball, and the striker's open here, but realistically he's got nothing to do if I pass to him. So I turn around, go back, and then I get the ball back, and then I could put it out wide. Unfortunately nothing comes from this, but Another time we can get a better pass and a better attack. And that's just one example when you might want to just go simple and then go backwards. Here I'm going to be open again from the goal kick, and then I can just do a simple driven through pass, and then we're off in the attack. Now we're going to be talking about something a little more complicated, and that's with, well, for example here, this counter-attack. I do the long ball because I know we have to get up there quickly. And if you rewind the clip, you can see the yellow player in the middle who I could have passed to, but I chose not to because if I passed him, what was he going to do? We'd probably just slow down the attack and he'd just get flooded easily. And this is controversial because a lot of people frankly just don't want to take the hard pass and either want to stat pad their passing accuracy or just take the easy route. Like here, I took the long ball option and we were able to get in behind, but unfortunately we had a bad touch in the process and lost out. The best way to know whether you should take the long ball, especially if you can't see your player who's making a run, is look at the map. Look at the map now. You can see my red teammate making the run, and then I can put him through. And again, he's got a bad touch and we lose out. But that's just one example. Look at the map and then you can see when players are making the runs and when they're free and open. Again, here the easy option might have been to shoot, but I just slow down the play and then slip through my teammate. And when you're on the edge of the box like that, just slow down the play and look for the options, and then maybe if you don't have anything, then you can shoot. In this, you're going to see me playing a bit of a more offensive role, as I've only got one striker up top and we've got two midfielders. But you see some nice play here between myself and the striker and the CPU. And here you just see me waiting, and then I can dink it over the top. There, I just waited for the striker to get into position and then I could just dink it. Easy as that. Just wait and see what your options are. And my final clip is just going to be showing a goal. Obviously, as a CDM and CM, you're probably not going to get many goals, but here you just see me waiting on the edge and I'm completely open. I'll give my teammate a shout and then I can just rifle it into the top corner and we score. And yeah, that's going to be everything. So I hope you've enjoyed this guide and hopefully it does improve you and you've learned something. But yeah, this guide took a lot of time and effort, so I would really appreciate it if you could leave a like and subscribe and comment and do all that good stuff. But yeah, I hope you all have a good day and bye bye.